got you that swallow. And I beat this shit, now you got loose powers. I don't owe you like 2 vowels, but I would like for you to pay me by the hour. And I'd rather be pushing flowers than to be in the pen sharing showers. Tony told us this world was ours, and the Bible told us every girl was sour. Don't be in a garden and don't smell her flower. Call me Mr. Carter, Mr. Lawnmower.
Please give me Avery.
Yeah. These niggas thought I was done, Terry.
I'm with the kids like
They thought I'm done. I just started finna turn it up a notch. 500 times 100 what I pay for just my watch.
Jeezy fucking with the gas, I told him nail it to the spot. I made a lot, I'm out of town, I call me staying on the block.
They thought I'm done. I just started finna turn it up a notch. 500 times 100 what I pay for just my watch.
Jeezy fucking with the gas, I told him nail it to the spot. I made a lot, I'm out of town, I call me staying on the block. I'm quick to change my bitch, but I won't change up on the guys, no. Don't compare me and them boys ain't nothing alike. I'm calm, I'm not on a hype. Back then I weren't her type, but now I got money, she won't be mine. Fine, I got one time like psych. Don't be upset. I ain't gon' feel no way for shorty, I ain't gon' feel regret. No, I ain't gon' sweat. No, babe, I ain't no sip.
Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, weighing in at 170 pounds, fighting out of homegrown MMA and A&M Jiu-Jitsu with a record of 3-1. And out of the blue corner, Azeyah Boy! And an opponent, fighting out of the red corner, weighing in at 147 pounds, training at Unlimited Kickboxing with a record of 3-0. Please give it up for Avery Perez. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get down to business.
All right, here we go. Azeyah Boyd and Avery Hendricks. This would be a BJJ matchup.
Yes, this is a BJJ matchup between two very, very talented individuals. On paper, Avery is a white belt, but he has competed at the World Jiu-Jitsu Championships, and he won first place at the 180-pound division. We have Azeyah Boyd coming in out of South Florida, and he is a very experienced fighter. He's almost 10 MMA fights, 5 kickboxing matches. This is one of his first grappling matches, but he has the experience over his opponent, Hendricks. Avery looks to be the stronger of the two fighters, and they both have good bases and a little head play.
Yes. Avery worked in for a underhook and then shoved him away.
Well, Azeyah, you know, he's known to be a striker. He comes from the Boyd family. They're a well-known grappling family in the Southeast, and you know he feels this is a bit beneath him as a striker, as an opponent. And when it comes to the grappling, and you can tell he's a showman. You know, he said he wants to have fun out there. You know, Avery is a grappler. He is focused. He just kind of fell in love with this sport about a year and a half ago. And, you know, he has been giving it all he has. This is his first grappling match outside of that tournament. So it's very interesting to see the contrast in styles and the focus on this.
Yeah, it's real good for these MMA guys that are good, that know they have good striking. This is this type of matchup, you know, something they can take in between fights and helps them sharpen these skills that they're not as comfortable with. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They're forced to use these now. Whereas he, in an MMA fight, you know, he can always step away and do what he does best.
Absolutely.
But this is a good way to become more well-rounded, because you're going to get put in bad situations in MMA.
Absolutely. And you know, once again, these are two contrasting styles here. You have the beginning fighter in Avery Hendricks, and he would like to go to an MMA style. He would like to go towards MMA in the future. He is building his base within jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
as with the Azeyah, he has built his base through striking, and now he's about to go pro. He's dipping his toes into the grappling. So, you know, there are a lot of different ways that this can work together. There's no blueprint for it, but you certainly do want to experience all of these different types of combat sports before you turn professional.
And it's good just to get in front of people, you know, in a competitive setting, to get in front of a crowd, you know, try to get some of those butterflies under control, you know, before you step in there for an MMA fight. So I think both guys can get a lot from this, regardless of the outcome. But right now you can see that neither of them have a lot of experience wrestling. It's a lot of collar ties and a lot of over-unders and, you know, single underhooks, and they haven't really known what to do with those body locks up to this point.
And that's the crazy part about it. You know, it's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu match. We haven't seen it get to the ground yet, and it looks like we might. Okay, we're looks a lot more like a wrestling match than it does a Jiu-Jitsu match. And and Azeyah with a big takedown right in our corner here. Man, that was thunderous a bit, huh?
Yeah, you got a lot of momentum working that way, and it was a matter of who was going to end up with that takedown. It was going to end up, you know, it was going to end up being pretty vicious either way because they were both moving.
Absolutely. That was great hip control by Azeyah. Like I said, it could have gone either way. Now what we're trying to do is get a knee on belly. What are we doing here?
Yeah, he's trying to get the side control. It looks like trying to get to where he can clear and settle in, but the cage is preventing him from flattening him out. So it's going to be interesting. You can see again, a more experienced grappler, he might have an opportunity to go to his back here. Or start to try to pull his hips away from the cage so that you can get him flattened out and get some control and start.
So when they're flattening him out, I was curious as to why he wouldn't pull the left arm of his opponent to kind of flatten him out a little bit.
Pretty much what he just did. He turned his shoulders, got his shoulders squared, you know, flat on the mat, and then now he's starting to exert some side control, and now he's knee on belly. But you know, without for a guy like him who's had more MMA experience, without striking in the mix, it's interesting to see what he's going to do with this, because you know what he would do with it if it was MMA. The rules are a little bit different here.
Absolutely. You can see him kind of wanting to go for a strike or two.
See, he had a great position, and he just gave it up voluntarily.
Now, as a referee, you know, because this is a 6-minute round, and then look at Azeyah getting the crowd into it. Yeah. Very wonderful. Like I say, I guess that's why he stood up. You know, he maybe couldn't do anything move further, but we want to give a good show for the crowd. Like I said, I really respect both of these competitors. Avery coming in as a debut grappling match. He did have the tournament, but he's never fought in front of a crowd quite this size or in front of the home fans even.
And in a tournament situation, there's a lot of people in the building, but it's not like this. There's a lot going on. You know what I mean?
About eight matches at a time.
Right. So it's not like, even if there's 1,000 people in the building, there's not 1,000 eyes on you. You know what I mean? Like here, if there's a few hundred people in the building, it's you. You know what I mean? It's just you and the other guy. So it's a lot different, and especially when they get into MMA, I think it's much more intense. So if Avery wants to, you know, gradually get into a situation where he's competing in MMA, I think this is a great way to start.
Absolutely, and a wonderful opponent, someone who's well-versed, had almost 10 MMA fights. You can see the difference between MMA wrestling and jiu-jitsu wrestling, or I'm sorry, MMA jiu-jitsu and jiu-jitsu as a sport in itself. As you can see.
Avery's trying to get a standing arm lock here, it looks like.
Looks like we have, 30 seconds left. We're coming into the final stages of this fight. Like 10 seconds. So how would you rank that?
I mean, if you're just scoring as a grappling match, for sure it would be Azeyah Boyd. Should easily take it because he had that knee on belly, he had that side control, he established that. So if in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament scoring, he would get points for the takedown, he'd get points for the pass to side control and establishing side control. He gets more points for going to knee on belly. So it would be pretty one-sided if it was just scored as a BJJ competition.
Oh, well, you said it was going to be an easy decision to make.
I don't know how they're scoring this, but as far as jiu-jitsu grappling scoring would go, yeah, Azeyah Boyd had the dominant position.
Well, they are calling for a 1-minute overtime. I guess the match was a bit closer than what we anticipated over here. And it's still up for grabs. This could be anybody's match, according to the referees and the judges.
Yeah, I think. Well, they're starting. Oh wow, this is interesting. They're doing a.
So we want to force jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
We had a wrestling match.
So this is similar to like EBI. They do their overtime this way. They put their one of the fighters in an advantageous position, and you got to try to either get escape time or get a submission.
You know, with a short minute timeline, you know, if he can flatten him out and establish control, I would say that he wins. But if he can break this block
it's usually so. I don't know. To be fair, I don't know what the scoring is here, but in EBI, if I'm not mistaken, it's down to either you get a submission or your opponent gets an escape and it gets timed, and then you switch.
Now that would be very interesting. Azeyah here is certainly looking to establish this control for as long as possible.
He's having a hard time getting his hands free.
We have a submission in the overtime for Azeyah Boyd. Wow, and getting the crowd on the feet. Man, exciting. I want to turn to the events. I did not see that coming. I did not see that.
Well, it was definitely coming. I mean, it was a matter of Avery had his hands tied up, and that was his main line of defense, was to keep his hands tied up. But as soon as Azeyah got his hands free, he locked that rear naked in immediately.
What a wonderful way to start the card. We give it up for your winner by rear naked choke in overtime, Azeyah Boyd out of the blue corner.